Hey y'all, welcome to Veggie Farming. I'm Stacy. I'm in Zone 8B, North Texas, and it's the beginning of summer and the heat has really kicked in. We're forecasted to have our first consecutive almost 100-degree days in a row this week, so I want to show you around the garden before everything starts getting burned. I'm putting up my shade cloth this week, so I just want to show you what it looks like before summer kicks in. So it's around 9 o'clock. It's almost still 90 degrees. The solar lights have kicked on, so just get some coffee or tea and I'll show you around my garden. New this year, I've added a squash tower. I found this on Amazon at the beginning of the season, and then I just added 2 T-posts to the center poles to make it more sturdy. I've planted zucchino rapicante squash. I think it's just another name for tromboncino squash. And it's supposed to be squash vine borer resistant, but it looks like the vine borer has already gotten to it. It's still alive for now, so I'm letting it stay. Also, I have Georgia candy roaster squash that's vining up over the trellis. I've already had to pull one of those out because the vine borer got to it. But I've planted more seeds, so hopefully by the end of the season, I'll be able to get more squash. For some reason, I just can't give up on growing squash. Even though I'm not doing anything to protect it, I just keep planting the plants over and over again. And here are cucumbers on this trellis. This one is a bait alpha cucumber. And it looks like the sun has really beat this plant down. So I'm probably going to be taking this out soon and finding something else to plant in this little bed over here. Here are 2 more yellow squash. This is called a cube of butter squash. And I think the vine borer has gotten to both of those, but I did get some squash off of these plants and they really are delicious. So I planted more seeds and hopefully I'll get more of those before the season is up as well. So we'll swing over here to my flower bed, and in this first pot I have star jasmine. I found that at the grocery store and I just couldn't pass it up. I got 2 of those. And this is stinging nettle that I planted last year and it came back. A couple of okra plants, and also I have a dwarf lily. And I can see all of the neighbors' weeds through the fence, but that's another story. Right here is my miwa kumquat. And this is my oldest tree, and I'm just proud that she's still alive. I leave her outside all winter, and I bring her in whenever we have a hard freeze. And I can see that she's growing fruit again this year. Right over here between my trees, I have a couple of lilies called a crinum lily, and then that's another dwarf lily in the front. And this tree is my loquat tree. It hasn't given me any fruit, but it keeps growing. Every year I can see more growth on it. Over here is an hibiscus, a tropical hibiscus plant. It has a large pretty flower. More okra plants, and this flower is called the Sahara rudbeckia, and the blooms on that are really pretty. This is my other star jasmine, and there's some pineapple sage. And next to it is some lemongrass. In this tower, I have all flowers this year. And these are just some petunias I got from the local nursery. This round bed is my herb bed, and I've recently removed a lot of old dead plants, but what I have left is blue sage. There's some rosemary. And this plant in the center is my patchouli plant. I'm still trying to figure this plant out. I don't know exactly what it likes, but it's still alive right here. And this is in full sun, so we'll see how it handles the summer. And then over here, I have my motherland okra. And I planted this in the ground. It gets huge, and so far it's doing pretty good. I wanted it to act as almost like a shade tree. And you can see that the okra is growing in nicely. It has short, fat pods on it. I have 2 of these motherland okra plants, 1 on each end, and I've gotten quite a bit of okra off of these so far this year. In the middle, I have 2 ornamental red banana trees. I found those at our local grocery store, H-E-B, as well. This is my pepper bed, and I'm also growing an eggplant in here this year. It's the Rosa Bianca eggplant. I've been looking for an eggplant that I really like, and I think this is the one. I made an eggplant lasagna, and the texture was good and the taste was good. So from now on, I'm sure that the Rosa Bianca is going to be the eggplant that I grow each year. It's one of the things that grows here in the summertime without any effort. And I have quite a few peppers as well. I have a black Hungarian pepper, and then these are purple bell peppers. So my peppers are doing pretty good this year. Like I said, it's almost time for me to put up the shade cloth because this area is in full sun and they can't usually handle it throughout the whole day. Right here in the center, I have another ornamental hibiscus and my 2 moringa trees. And now that the heat is kicking in, those are going to just explode in growth. In that pot, there's a pink celery plant, and mixed in this pot, ginger and turmeric. And they're doing pretty good so far. And this is more peppers. These are candy cane peppers. And I just really like how the variegated leaves look on that candy cane pepper. This is my other motherland okra. And I have a couple of hanging baskets back over here in this corner as well. And they all have flowers in them. Back here, tucked against this fence, is where I hide things that need the most shade in my garden. I have in these pots, I have turmeric. I have a pot with some Greek mountain tea mint in it. And then I have my mullein plant and some elephant ears. And then back against this fence, I also have 2 remaining artichoke plants. I don't know what's going on with those artichoke plants. One died after a heavy rain, and I'm just trying to keep the other 2 alive. But I can see that the turmeric likes it here, and I see one little burn spot where it gets hit with the sun in the morning. So I've found that in my garden, turmeric does benefit from being in the shade. And that's the Greek mountain tea mint plant. Has some lemon balm around the edges. And so it's doing pretty well back here in the shade also. These are my Jamaican sorrel hibiscus plants. There are 2 plants in this open bottom pot, and they are doing really good so far. They usually get huge and take up this whole corner. And under this shade cloth, I have laid out all of the garlic that I had in this bed and harvested. And so I have it here just drying out and curing. We haven't had rain in quite a while, so it's just been protected from the direct sunlight with the shade cloth. And it's doing well so far. It's drying out. You can see I have garlic and onions in there. And I had a pretty good harvest this year. Along this back fence is where I keep most of my trees. I have 5 trees in pots along this back fence. This first tree is my black mission fig. I up-potted it this year, and so it's grown a lot wider, but still no figs. And next to it, I have my donut peach tree. And I got a donut peach and a donut nectarine tree as bare root trees last year, and they both put on a good amount of fruit this year, and they both are really delicious. In the middle here is my Olympian fig, and next to that is my donut nectarine tree. All of the fruit has been harvested off of that one already. And right behind the trees, these tall plants are Mexican sunflowers. They're also called tree marigolds. I bought these as cuttings on Etsy from Dan's Food Forest. His name is Food Forest Seeds on Etsy. and they are said to have as many nutrients as chicken manure, so they can be used as a vegan chop and drop. And my last tree back here is a lane jujube tree, and I got fruit on this tree as well. So I did order another jujube tree, but it came in late, so this one was self-pollinating, and I still got fruit this year. Now the birds have gotten most of it. They have pecked and eaten most of the fruit on this, but hopefully I'll get a few and get to taste it this year. Now we're going over into what I consider the wildest part of my garden. Starting here with the green stalk, I put quite a few Space Master cucumber plants in this green stalk, and I've gotten a good deal of cucumbers off of it, but it's a little bit wild over here. So they're doing well. I will plant them in this green stalk again. I feel like it kept the vines pretty well controlled. And again, I've gotten quite a few cucumbers off of these plants. And at the bottom, I have peppers, and all of those cucumber leaves have helped to shade the peppers a bit. Further into this corner, I have a grouping of about 10 pots. And in this first pot over here, I have a green giant tomato plant. And then I have another Rosa Bianca eggplant. There's a Swiss chard over there, and some very tall marigold plants. Whatever is in this black pot, I don't even know what it is. It may be a weed, I'm just watching it. But this giant overgrown elderberry tree that I've already cut back once this season is actually creating a lot of shade over here. So some of the empty pots are going to be a great place for me to start fall vegetables. As you can see, the birds have eaten a lot of the elderberries right off of these trees. They've just completely emptied all of the berries off of the bush. But I still have more flowers coming, so there's still hope that I may get berries. So it's getting darker and darker now, but these marigolds are just glowing over here. This tomato plant is an Auriga tomato plant, and this has been one of the most prolific tomato plants that I've had this season. And they are actually really tasty when you let them ripen all the way. Over here in the front, I have a Berry's Crazy Cherry tomato, and you can see all the clusters of flowers that it's putting on. So many tomatoes on this plant. If you just need one cherry tomato plant, it's going to be that Berry's Crazy Cherry tomato. So on this trellis, I have bitter melon. It's a white bitter melon. I have about maybe 3 plants on each side, and it has completely taken over this trellis. I also tried to plant some scarlet runner beans, but they just overtook the runner beans. If you come inside of here, you can see how huge these bitter melons get. And so I have a couple that I am letting turn yellow. That means they're completely ripe, and I've heard that when they're yellow, the seeds inside can be sweet. So I want to taste it and try that out. So when I'm standing over here under this trellis, to me, I feel like I'm in a little jungle, and it's giving me everything I wanted it to give. Like a little hideaway under here. My neighbors can't see me, so it's giving me all the privacy that I wanted. Then right over here on the other side, I have some radish that went to seed. So it has the seed pods on it. They're like little spicy radish green beans. And I had some extra Jamaican sorrel plants. I planted one on each side of this bed. And then right over here, I have my little plot of zinnias. So I have all different colors, and it's the first thing I see in the morning when I look out my door, and I just love the way they look. And during the day, they are so full of pollinators that you can barely walk by. And then I have these pink flowers. These are bubblegum supertunias. And I have an okra plant here. And then tucked away back here behind this bed, I have my mint bed. And so the mint is doing good being shaded from the direct sun. And also back here, I have a blue butterfly pea plant in with some lemon basil. It smells so good back behind this bed. Whenever I walk past and brush against any of these plants, it just smells amazing. You can also see back here, along with the good comes the bad, and I have these glue traps and snap traps everywhere. The rodents have found me this year. The birds have found me. So I'm fighting that battle. And here I have a blueberry plant. It's a peach sorbet blueberry plant. And it's full of blueberries. And on this green stalk, I have peppers and beans, pink amaranth, and up at the top, I have some mini roses. So this green stalk has a few open spaces, and it's time for me to plant some more seeds. Right down here, I have a rosemary plant, and then next to it, I have a bay leaf tree. It's called Little Ragu. It's supposed to be a miniature bay leaf tree. In this pot, there's lemon balm. And then right over here is another honeyberry plant that I ordered. It came in late as well. And this is the other jujube tree that I was referring to. This one just came in as well. And it came in as a bare root with no leaves, and so the leaves are starting to grow in on it. Right down here in these other pots, I have some geraniums that I grew from seed. There's some parsley, cilantro, there's some orange thyme, raspberry plant. Then up at the top, there's some stevia that I grew from seed. And next to that is an apple mint plant.